The American biker, a symbol of national freedom and rugged determination. Bikers are everywhere, riding weekends and as a daily lifestyle. The feeling of freedom when riding a motorcycle is intoxicating. Bikers ride not only for their own enjoyment, but often in groups for a worthy cause. They are a special breed of American biker.
There's not a better feeling in the world, if you ask me, to have your knees in the breeze and your knuckles in the air and riding a two-wheel machine. I'm not going to look down upon any brother or sister riding a two-wheel machine and enjoying the freedom that riding presents to you. It's therapeutic. It's one of the most amazing freedoms that I think we're allowed as an American citizen. Your butt's in the seat, and like I said, your knees are in the breeze and your knuckles are in the air. It's you, your motorcycle, Mother Nature around you, and the road in front of you. If it's got two wheels, even three, it's better than four wheels in a roof to me. So there's, again, not a better feeling that you can have than getting out and doing that.
You're out there on the road and nothing matters, just the wind. You can kind of get all the bad and the negative out and roll it all out all at once and just get it out on a ride.
Freedom, I think is the word I would best describe it. When you're on a motorcycle, all the worries of life, just kind of like dissipate. So I would say freedom. It gives you a great deal of freedom.
True bikers will ride in any weather conditions. It's all about putting rubber to the road and enjoying the ride, as well as riding safely on our American highways.
You may hear, you were talking about the rain, you may hear the raindrops. We're in my man barn, I guess, my cave back here, but raining, like we were just talking about, is all a part of riding. If you don't want to get wet, you drive your car. What's the point of having a motorcycle? I carry my rain gear, and I rode home today in the rain. So it's not so much, you have to be more cautious. But if it's like pouring, of course, pull over and, I wouldn't try to chance it, but just sprinkling like it was this afternoon, it's just another day on a motorcycle. You just have to watch your braking and watch the other person and make sure they can see you, because when it's raining, I guess it makes it a little bit even harder for them to see you. But I just try to be very visible. But rain gear stays on the motorcycle, all the time, so you're going to get wet eventually riding, no matter what you do.
I think for safety, if you're riding in the rain, you want a good helmet. Just safety, all-around safety features. You have red, I want a helmet on. Like I said, I do a lot of distance riding, though, So I want to have the rain gear,
Ride. I'm not a fair weather rider. I'd like to ride no matter what, unless the conditions are so crazy that, you can't ride. If I ride to work and don't get wet, that's fine, but coming home, if I get wet, no big deal.
Motorcycle riders will tell you that riding is a form of therapy, and as such, They often will ride in packs. Group riding may simply be friends out for a weekend cruise, but many times group riding is for a worthy cause.
I like to ride in a group. I like to share the experience. You know, it's always nice to have friends and buddies around. You know, you can ride and then get off and, you know, laugh and have a few drinks and then hop back on and, you know, just take a ride. I think when you ride alone, you know, that's more of something you can do to kind of, it's kind of a relaxing thing. It's kind of a centering thing, and you know, I think when you get out with buddies, it's time to have a good time, you know, that kind of a thing.
I don't mind riding alone, but I appreciate the camaraderie. It's kind of nice to have somebody there to share the experience with and talk about what you saw on the road or different things that kind of transpire when you're riding. Again, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, you know, you might not even have a destination, but you just go experience it together, to have another tale to tell is really the best feeling that you can have. Sure, you can ride solo and you can put miles on, but I think when you're able to share that experience with multiple people, it just kind of expounds upon the depth of what you're actually getting into.
Generally speaking, I would say I ride by myself. I like to ride a lot. I do somewhere around 20,000 miles a year on average. Riding in a group kind of has a tendency to slow me down when I got to get from point A to point B. About the only time that I like riding in a group is if I'm leading that group. It's just my nature, just the way I am. I guess the people I ride with know that about me. If I'm riding with a group and I'm not leading the group, I'm dead last just 'cause. Don't know why, it's just the way I am.
I've only ridden probably with about 4 other riders. I've never been in like one of the, you know, I've been wanting to go on one of those rides, you know, for like charity or something like that, but I just hadn't had that opportunity yet where I can get off from work long enough to do that. But I think it would be interesting to see how that works, but you know, I watched some videos and stuff, but I've never done that. I think it'd be cool though.
could express it. I don't know that words can say it. You know, for me, getting on a bike, even if it's just to come to work, because I got to work for a living, it's like I'm going down the highway getting to work and I'm thinking to myself, this is a wonderful day, I'm going to put on 1,000 miles instead. It's just going and being gone, simply put.
Whether it be riding in a group or riding single, bikers love to put on the miles. Distance riding is a rider's expression, from iron butt competitions to just seeing how far you can go in a single day. Bikers love the ride. And as many will tell you, it's not the destination that's important, it's getting there that rules.
I'm iron butt, what they call an iron butt rider, which is you ride 1,000 miles in a 24-hour period. And did an interesting ride in the state of Mississippi. I rode one day, I left here and rode around the state of Mississippi, 1,000 miles in 17 hours. And it was, they call it the Iron Butt Mississippi Ride. And I thought, you know, I'm going to do something unique, and come to find out 14 other people had done it before me. So I thought that was interesting that somebody would want to do something like that.
Definitely like doing some touring. I came off of my 2005 Sportster, was my first Harley that I owned. I put almost 30,000 miles on that bike in 3 years. And then I moved myself up to a full dresser. And I like to see, even though working at the dealership 6 days a week, I like to try to get somewhere around 10 to 12,000 miles on my bike every year.
And coast to coast, 4 corners. You know, from here to LA in 2 days. Salt Lake City and back in 36 hours. Omaha, Nebraska to Prince Edward Island, Canada, you know, and back. Taking my time touring around, a little over 6,000 miles in 15 days. You know, down to Florida and back in a day.
Well, I left here and I went up to Montana and around up there, and And when I rode every state in the lower 48, west of the Mississippi River, but I was minus North Dakota, so I rode across North Dakota and stuff then too when I went out there. I usually just go through South Dakota. When I'm taking a long way, go to South Dakota, and then I cut down to Cheyenne, and I take the 80 and go over Donner Pass.
The guys here, we're all riders, we're all passionate about it. We want to do at least 300 to 500 miles that day just to signify the week without riding. You know, you could ride to and from work, you're 5-10 miles, and that feels good, and it's a stress reliever and stuff like that, but it's the hundreds of miles that you didn't get to ride during the week that you want to try to make up for on the days that there's the opportunity. So.
Bikers who enjoy riding together often form bike clubs. Unlike the biker gangs of the past, bike club members come together to ride for a worthy cause. They raise money for benefits, toys for children, and to support veterans. American bikers are a very giving society.
We are a Veterans MC. We are the Warrior Brotherhood Veterans MC. We ride for vets. We are a Help Vets organization. We're not a riders club, we are an actual MC. Well, it's just different riding. It's we get along with everybody. It's a 99% club. We're not hellraisers. Just trying to help each other out. We have a chapter down here that the guys are really big into the Healing Waters. It's an organization that we help fund a little bit and send some of our proceeds and donations that we raise through the community to them. And doing this, we're doing a motorcycle raffle right now, which is taking place tomorrow, obviously. And in doing so, the proceeds we wanted to send to Healing Waters. But in doing so, we also wanted to incorporate local veterans. The Warrior Brotherhood is a national organization across all the states. and we wanted to do something that not only helps, you know, overall veterans and but vets in our local communities as well. So they wanted to get a local vet out of the Mattoon, Effingham area, which is where we're based out of down here, and use one of the disabled vets or a vet that's seen action that, you know, wouldn't have normally been able to go do, you know, such fun things as far as going down to healing waters and doing the fishing and so on and so forth. So one of the guys happened to know Aaron and said, "Hey, would you be interested?" And he was ecstatic from what I hear.
Yeah.
In the spirit of community, bikers in Illinois recently gathered to support and award a local veteran wounded in action in Iraq.
This raffle today is to help us send him on a fly fishing trip to Quantico, Virginia. So what the Brotherhood has done is we're sending 2 soldiers to Quantico. We paid for Aaron and we're paying for another soldier to go with him, and we had the lucky idea to pick one of our own. So we picked Aaron, and Healing Waters from Quantico, Virginia, in cahoots with the Walter Reed Medical Center, is going to pick another soldier from the United States to go with Aaron. If I could have all Warrior Brotherhood members around the bike, please. All right, let's get this bike away. What do you say? Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Paul. He is the owner of Legacy at Harley-Davidson. Without Paul, we couldn't have done this. Their help has been tremendous. Tyson, Clint, Major, you guys have got some great employees here. We've put a plaque together for you in appreciation for everything that you've done for us. It says, presented to the owners and employees of Legacy Harley-Davidson for supporting the Harley to Support a Heroes ride, May 3rd, 2014.
It's really the employees that did this. I had very little to do with it. Clint, Tyson, Major, all the other guys inside that have been helping y'all out, they're the ones that did this. So thanks, God bless, go from there.
Come on, who wants to win? Ticket 184 from Normal, Illinois, Alicia Kreitz. Alicia Kreitz. Huh? She's from Bloomington. Is she here? Alicia Kreitz. She's not here? Not here. We'll reach out to her. We'll make sure she gets everything. If I could have the brothers over here for a picture.
I was a little amazed. I mean, I wasn't expecting to, you know, get picked for anything. Wasn't expecting to do anything, you know, fun. But I mean, once they picked me up, you know, things went well. Things are going well, and I mean, they've lifted me up spirit-wise, and you know, it's been great since then.
It kind of shows that, you know, we're doing something to help support the community as just a member of that area.
Bikers love to show off. Not only is the ride important, but maintenance is a priority. If an American biker can squeeze out just a little more horsepower, they will. As thrilling as the ride may be, the performance of the motorcycle can be just as much fun.
I do my own maintenance. Most of the time I'm doing oil changes and regular maintenance like that, but that's another thing. If you're a new person, learn to bike. I mean, learn it from top to bottom. Oil, brake fluids. You know, if you have a water-cooled bike, which mine is, make sure your coolants are good, and just follow the instructions in your manual. And if you can't find that, log onto the internet, and there is a million videos on how to do everything. So you shouldn't have any problems at all.
I think it's definitely something, you know, that's to be left to the technicians, you know, us, the trained professionals. You know, it's just with everything becoming, you know, there's such specifications on things and different things like that, that it's definitely, you know, a good idea to know what you're doing when you're doing it, so that the bike is safe and it's done properly, and things aren't, you know, going to be botched and you're going to have any kind of a safety issue out on the road.
And with that said, every biker loves a good burnout. Safety is paramount when riding. Often it isn't your skill as a rider, but the awareness of the road and other drivers. However, no matter how safe you are, accidents can and do happen. American bikers must be totally aware of their riding environment and keep a keen eye on the other vehicles on the road.
Well, I've had 3 pretty severe accidents. I've been hit by cars twice, and one time was purely my fault.
I've had some accidents. I was run over by a truck when I was about 16, cutting donuts out in front of the little girl's yard, you know, and pulled out in the road, and the truck ran over me. And I've run off the road a few times, and you know, young, and have had an accident or 2 on this one here too, matter of fact, but not anything major. Just some skin ups, you know. You ride one enough, it's going down. You go down. You got to be, you know. It's an assumed risk when you ride a motorcycle.
Yes, I almost died in 1986. They gave me only 10% chance of living, but I refused to die, and carried on, rode many miles from that, and it was a tough comeback. I was on crutches for 14 months and everything, and my mom, she's gone now, but she helped me learn to walk again.
I think motorcycles are very safe. They're becoming more safe, every day. These bikes are coming out with ABS. The Harleys are starting to become water-cooled motorcycles. I mean, there's a lot of research and R&D and stuff that goes into these bikes, and there's a lot of gear. The ride apparel, obviously helps you be safe. Wearing a helmet when you're riding, wearing leather gear, leather gloves, and boots and that kind of a thing. And yeah, I think that just like anything, as the technology's becoming more and more readily available to the motorcycles, they're just becoming more safe and safe every day.
One of the most controversial issues for American bikers is helmet laws. Some states absolutely require them. Others allow the rider to choose to wear a helmet. Many believe they are more of a hindrance to riding than helpful. Either way, bikers are passionate about helmet usage.
We don't have helmet laws, and that's great. Helmet laws suck. I mean, they're good, don't get me wrong. I wear them once in a while, I do. But it should be your option. If you don't want to wear a helmet and you have an accident, sorry for your luck, you're the fool that had that. You wear a helmet and you have an accident, lucky you're wearing a helmet. Everybody makes their own choices. And I think that's what it should be still as far as helmet laws.
I wear a Schuberth, a German-made helmet. It's a modular helmet. It comes down, got a full shield. It comes down and it seals. And it has what's called a pinlock system, and it doesn't fog. So when it's raining, of course I'm behind a windshield, but when it's raining, you really look over the windshield. You want to be able to look over it. But I don't. I'm able to ride as fast as, anybody else in the rain. You don't want to slow down.
I don't know. I think they're not as good as what a lot of people say and stuff. I mean, I realize they'd help on head injuries and stuff like that, but they're hot. A lot of times, you got to have the right kind of ones too. They interfere with your vision and your blind spots and stuff like that. No, I don't like them. It'd be up to me. It'd be up to the individual to choose whether they want to wear a helmet or not.
In all occurrences where a helmet may save your life, you're probably going to be in a situation to where you're at speeds of 50 to 55 miles an hour, okay? In most scenarios, whether you're wearing a helmet or not, if you take an impact to your body at that type of speed, there's very minimal percentage of actual survival rate when it comes down to that point. I guess it kind of comes down to the same thing as wearing a seatbelt in your car. People always tell you accidents happen closest to home, and that's kind of where I've heard or felt or seen that a helmet may come to benefit you. As you're standing at a stop and all of a sudden your feet comes out from under you, you fall over, you smack your head on the curb, and if you would have had a helmet on, you might not have died, but somebody who wasn't wearing a helmet and had that scenario happen, it was just an unfortunate event and kind of crazy.
I would wear a helmet regardless of whether I could or not, just because I've seen accidents and I've seen where the helmet saved the person, and if they wouldn't have been wearing a helmet, I don't think that would have happened.
But again, with that freedom of you grabbing the handlebars on a two-wheel motorcycle, I think you should really be able to say, look, this is my life, and if I decide to take it into my own hands and what have you, the Lord travels with me everywhere I go, and I have a bell on my motorcycle as well, which also signifies a legend that all riders should understand and have a commonality and understand that. But like I said, if I'm going to take my life into my hands, putting myself on that motorcycle, then whether I wear a helmet or not is really up to me.
Men are not the only riders on the road. More and more women are taking the handlebars into their own hands and learning to ride. Motorcycle riding is for everyone.
Well, that's wonderful. I love it. Myself, you know, some guys get jealous about that and all that. That's too bad. Hey, if that lady's got, I was riding up the Yosemite one day, and here come this lady on a sports ring. She would, and that's the way you got to take that mountain on. You got to take it on like it's you're going to win, you know. And she was doing that same thing, and I thought, well, you know, if that lady's got a good enough rider, take this on, more power to her.
Yeah, I think anybody can. I mean, anyone that can, you know, has the ability to go out and just get themselves on one, you know, if they're financially able. I mean, I think anyone's able, you know, able to ride.
But my wife said if I get a bigger motorcycle, so I guess that means I have permission to get one. I don't she would ride with me, but I think she would be more comfortable on like a trike or something, you know, not the two wheels. She'd rather have three wheels on the ground.
You know, I love seeing ladies in motorcyclism and stuff like that, because I'd rather have them on our side, being, you know, the man that I am, on our side than against us to begin with, you know. Plus, they're the greatest thing about being a man is, you know, having women around, you know, to share love, accomplishments, and all that with and everything.
I mean, a lot of people think that Sportster, you know, might be the woman's bike because it's a smaller, lighter bike. You know, some people, you know, I would honestly look at, you know, a Softail for a woman because of seat height. You know, seat height is lower on a Softail, which gives you more handling on the bike. Your center of gravity is lower, it's not taller, as opposed to a Sportster having a taller seat height is definitely going to be, you know, a little bit harder to top. It's going to be top heavy, you know, as opposed to the Softail. So as far as, you know, picking a bike for a woman, I mean, I think it's whatever fits you. You know, whatever you can think you can hold up and whatever you can handle, you know, is good to start on. Harley's come out with two smaller 750s and, you know, and another bike that's kind of geared to the new rider, which doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, a woman. It could be a man also.
There's really no explanation of how amazing of a freedom that you do feel when you're riding any two-wheel machine. Like I said, I know we got our metrics, non-American brands, but again, God bless them too, because they're still sharing in the camaraderie, the brotherhood of the actual freedom of riding a motorcycle. So, you know, I know there's a lot of, you got your helmet laws, you got other different laws that are kind of starting to become more affluent in the biker community. I just really think that nothing's going to stop us. You know, we're too big of a brotherhood and sisterhood for anybody to say you're not going to do this on your bike, or you're not going to ride this or do that. I think there's just too big of a number, and I think it's increasing every year, especially with women riders. You know, stepping up and really grabbing the handlebars themselves and getting out and putting miles with us. But there is nothing to explain. You have to do it. For people who don't ride, you know, they might look at it as just tremendous danger and, oh my God, it's the biggest risk that you could take. You don't know what the day has to bring when you walk out your door every morning. You know, we take risks by getting in our cars and driving to work and visiting our family and stuff like that. I want to experience life to the fullest, so maybe I'll pose a little bit of risk in order to do that. But again, there's just no explanation for it. If you haven't done it, you haven't experienced it yourself to say whether you actually like it or not, then you can't pose any bias to anyone who actually does do it as a lifestyle. So it's definitely a tremendous feeling.
I'm a bike rider, not a biker. I don't wear any patches or belong to any clubs. Most of my riding is 95% is by myself. You know, I don't ride with others. Maybe one or two occasionally. I think more the biker, which would be maybe they belong to groups and, you know, clubs, and it's more of a lifestyle. I think there's really three classes though. There's bikers, riders, and there's posers. And we have a lot of those. I'd say the majority of people that own motorcycles are posers, as I call them. They don't really ride them, they own them. So I think the bikers ride them, and I think the riders ride them.
I don't. I usually just ride with friends when I do get out. You know, we do try to just, you know, I do have weekends. You know, every other weekend I get out and I'm able to get out and ride when the weather's nice. And we just tool around. You know, going, you know, up and down the highways through here. Just, you know, do destination rides. Just kind of pick a place and go and eat and head back and that kind of a thing.
I think the misconception comes into play. It's the biker gangs or motorcycle clubs or things to that effect that really, you know, had given bikers a bad name. Because I could be looked at as a biker as anybody else does. I have Biker Forever tattooed on me. You know, ride hard, live fast. You know, and people can misconceive this if they see it.
I don't think we're perceived as aggressive. I think the biker mentality of how the public sees us is diminishing to a more civil concept. Probably 20 or 30 years ago, I don't know, I can't really say.
You know, you always hear the thing of there's a stereotype of the biker and, you know, just full-on riding. That's all they do. They don't work or anything. They just ride. And I guess more like a motorcyclist like myself would be, you use it for a particular purpose and some enjoyment, which I like to get out and hit a couple back roads occasionally and just, you know, when you're not feeling good, just go ride, and that makes you feel so much better. But to me, that seems to be the difference, you know, more of that, you see that, you know, the hardcore leather, you know, chaps, the whole 9 yards. But then again, there's some motorcyclists who wear that stuff too, so it's one of those toss-ups.
You know, there's all kinds of people from all walks of life that are buying bikes these days. You know, it kind of might have been a set group of people before, but, you know, now doctors and teachers and everybody, you know, everybody's getting bikes, and it's all ages.
I've been asked to join some startup clubs, but when I think it's the initiation period that is probably the worst part of it, where I don't want to be tied up. I just want to ride. I don't want to have to be tied down with, you know, club rules and being a probate and all the stuff like that. Having a patch is really not that important for me.
Patch holders are a little bit of a different breed of people, but it's hard to describe.
I don't really even like the word gang to begin with. You know, like I never really, if I seen anybody that had that chip on their shoulder looking for trouble and stuff all my life, I ride motorcycles and stuff, I don't want to be around them. But like on the other hand, I'm bombarded for 44. It'll be 44 years in August and stuff like that. He ain't like that at all. You know, he's a great guy. He knows more about motorcycles than just about anybody I know and riding and stuff like that. But that's the reason he's been doing it as long as he has too, because he isn't one of them people with an attitude like that.
Now, if I put my sleeves down and they don't see anything, then all they see is a clean-shaven, bald-headed guy. You know, but as soon as these come out, it's like, oh my God, it's a completely different conception of everything. When I came into the motorcycling world, a 1%er was described to me as this. A 1%er is someone who is going to ride their motorcycle 99% of the time. Doesn't matter rain, doesn't matter shine, doesn't matter anything. They're so hardcore and dedicated to their motorcycle that they're gonna ride it all the time. You should never ever find them without their motorcycle. That's what I feel a 1%er is. Someone who has given themselves to motorcycling. That's what they do all the time, anytime, no questions. It would be a rarity for that person to find themselves in anything other than a motorcycle. And I think, again, that misconception of the biker gangs and things to that effect is, well, a 1%er, you know, is how much of the law they believe in or follow or something like that. That's not it at all. It's how much you are with your motorcycle is what I feel a true 1%er really is.
It's just fun being with people that have alike and similar mind, doing the things you want to do, what they want to do.
Well, I mean, there's just as there's Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, just as there's other groups and other cliques out there that look to help benefit their local communities or even broaden it, throughout other communities throughout the world. I mean, we're very caring people. We really are. We might carry the badass stigma or look or what have you, but I mean, we all were raised in a family, and we all have morals. We all have consciences and things like that. And bikers want to give back. We want to do good for our communities, because again, as our name gets slandered because we're bikers and because we ride in groups and masses, and we share the brotherhood and sisterhood of what motorcycling really is, it doesn't mean that we're bad people. We're taxpayers, we pay our bills, we go to church, we contribute to the church, and we try to contribute to our communities. And I mean, there's motorcycle clubs out there that are a club for kids and abused children, and go out and take them under their wing, and are kind of like a big brother, big sister type of biker association. I don't think anything should be taken away from them, and I think that a ton of light should be shed on those groups, because that's all they want to do. They want to ride to give back to the community. They want to ride to show that we acknowledge our soldiers who have gone to battle for us, and we want to greet them with open arms when they come back, and we want to send them off with as much as we can, so they know that we care. Same thing with the youth of America and abused children and things to that effect, or cancer. Any way that a biker can try to help better his brothers and sisters is what we're going to do, because we're all in it for each other. We're not just one, we are an entire group.
American bikers can be very passionate about the brand of bike they ride. Motorcycle manufacturers don't have customers, they have fans. The type and brand bike a rider chooses will reflect the style of riding they enjoy.
That's always the debate amongst all riders. Are like, well, you ride a Honda, or you ride a Yamaha, or you ride a Harley. I don't care for the Harley too much. It's not because I don't like Harleys, but I don't think I could afford a Harley. But I don't think it makes a difference on what you ride. I think everybody should just be happy together. But I know there's a big contingent about, I ride this and you ride that and we can't be friends. But it doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter. What you ride. You could ride a scooter, but it's kind of pushing the limit. But you can ride whatever you want to ride. But I just say, 2 wheels on the ground and riding. I mean, that's the way to go.
Oh no, I mean, I've owned Japanese motorcycles, I've owned German motorcycles, I've owned Czechoslovakian motorcycles. At this point in my life, I like American motorcycles, but that's just me. Anybody else, I don't care what you ride as long as you're safe and happy doing it.
Well, I'm a Honda Valkyrie guy. Like I say, I've owned a Harley and rode it for a year, and I enjoyed it the year I had it, but I found the Valkyrie, and I just love. I started riding when I was 14 on a metric bike, a Yamaha 55, and I guess I just meant to ride a metric. So when I told my wife when I turned 60, that's when I bought a Harley. I said, I want to buy me a Harley. I always wanted a Harley, and I bought one, and I kept it a year, and found the Valkyrie, and that just, it was love at first sight.
For American bikers, it's not the destination, it's the ride. Many bikers choose to put on as many miles as they can. These bikers are called iron butt riders. They traveled thousands of miles to gain the prestige of having ridden great distances in a single day.
You've earned that. If you see that on, you know a guy has been ridden 1,000 miles in 24 hours. The way you get that is you have to document the ride. Somebody, has to be witnessed from the, when you leave, like if I go down to the station, I have to have the guy witness it. And I have to keep every receipt from every stop that I make, And like when I did the state of Mississippi, you got to, every corner, it has to be, you got to stop in the corners. Like when I got to Corinth and over to South Haven, and you wait till you run around the state to do the whole thing. You got to completely document it, and you send those documentations in, and you don't just get one. You earn it. And if somebody's got one, they've got it. You ride 1,000 miles in 24 hours.
Yeah, I want my knees in the breeze, my fists in the air, and I want as much hair as I don't have. I want it hitting the top of my head. So, that's just me.
I've made some, I should say I made some day trips, I guess, maybe down to the Gulf Coast. And that's it's probably 80 or 90 miles from where I live. So that's probably the farthest I've ridden. Mostly I do use my motorcycle mainly for commuting to work every day. That's pretty much my ride now.
Dealerships and brands have changed over the years. The days of simply opening a shop and selling motorcycles are gone. In today's corporate world, brands are marketed around strict regulations. However, today, it's still easy to get a bike and start riding.
We got started with Harley. My husband had gone to Chicago to buy used cars, and the dealer up there was renting out little Hondas by the day or by the hour. So he comes home and he wants to do the Harleys. So we get the little Harleys, and they were M50s, and we started renting those out by the day or by the week. That was in July. By fall, we decided to get the full dealership. So we got the other motorcycles also, the other sizes. That was in 1966 is when we got the full start. There really was nothing to it. They sent you some parts and told you how many motorcycles you could get, and that was it. We just took what they gave us, and very few motorcycles at that time because they weren't really riding. There was a few adults in this town, maybe 6 or 8, that had larger motorcycles. We always had the limit was small on the motorcycles that we could get, and we always had a waiting list for those, so it was nice. Well, everything then, you pretty well done what you wanted. Today you have too many rules to go by. And I think people enjoyed them more then than they do now, and this building was full of motorcycles. We had the 2 big rooms of parts, and it was just huge at that time, yeah. They have a lot of nice rides, which we didn't have back then. They're just nice for a good get-together with all the customers, and it was really nice.
The freedom of the road can be intoxicating, and first-time riders often want to take to the road quickly. However, advice from seasoned riders can be useful. Learn your bike and learn to ride safely.
If somebody's ho-humming the idea around about getting a bike, it's a good idea. I mean, I think a bike is a good release and a good way to express yourself also. I mean, a lot of people really do. I mean, you see people every day out there, you know, the bikes are getting wild. I mean, people are customizing, they're doing it themselves, they're building frame-offs and stuff like that. And I mean, even the people that are buying, you know, these stock Harleys and stuff and just modifying them from there. I mean, it's something that, you know, it's a really good way to express yourself, and I think it's a really good way to have, you know, to get out and have fun and relax and just have a good time.
Well, they need to know a lot of things. I don't know. They need to, you know, to respect the everybody that's out riding. They need to respect everything that's going on and watch out for traffic and dress safer than what they used to. I mean, put your leathers on and just be careful.
Get a bike. Don't get too big a bike to begin with, you know, and just get out and ride it. You know, get out on the open roads and ride it. Get comfortable with your bike, you know. Yeah, like when you was a kid and riding a bicycle, you got comfortable where you could, you know, paddle that bicycle without holding on with your hands, you know. You had that comfort level. You need to have that same comfort level riding a motorcycle. That you know, you're part of the motorcycle county. And the way to do that is to get off and ride by yourself, you know. And when I went back to ride, see, I stopped riding for many years. I raised a family, and when I bought the Harley, which it was a 98 Springer, beautiful bike, that's what I did, though. It was a big bike. Biggest bike I'd ever owned. 305 Super Harley was the biggest bike I'd ever owned as a young guy. And I just took that bike off and just rode it. I put 14,000 miles on it in a year, just, you know, basically. And I rode it, you know, down to Florida and all, and if I went up west or anything, rode it up Tennessee, stuff like that. But this one now, you know, just go anywhere, anytime.
Safety. Safety is the most important thing, not just you, that motorcycle too, because you're a team. You know, you can only be as good as your motorcycle lets you be as a rider and stuff. If you have breakdowns or stuff like that, there's some places now, like I go in and out of Los Angeles County and everything, you know, and you just can't break down in a place like that. They'd have 7 or 8 cars run over you before they got stopped. You've got to be tuned in with your machine, and you have to think ahead with your machine too, you know. I mean, about your oil changes, your performance, you know, if you anticipate something going on, your tires too. Very, very, very important, you know. Keep everything up the best you can. Try to always be a step or 2 or 3 ahead of any potential problem.
Get with someone who knows how to ride and learn your motorcycle. I mean, learn the, you know, your oil, how to change your oil, and signals and braking and everything like that. And if you can, go to like a safety class if there's one available, or if you can find one, and just really learn your motorcycle and get your endorsement. I mean, get your motorcycle endorsement, get your license.
Along with the freedom of riding, motorcycles represent a feeling of power. Owning a machine on 2 wheels that has torque and speed instills a feeling for the biker that his or her machine will get them where they're going and never let them down. For American bikers, the brand and all the accessories they add to the bike makes it uniquely theirs.
Just the styling with these kind of bikes. I mean, people do different things to them. I mean, people barge. You know, some people set it off with a paint job. Some people are really into, you know, into motors and stuff. Some people, they'll leave their bike stock and just ride it, you know, from, you know, here to California and back. But a lot of the people just, you know, the customization, a lot of it's paint and that kind of stuff.
Because the bike, if you properly maintain the bike, you know, it's going to be all right.
The bike that I have now, I saw it. It came online. I was looking for a motorcycle. I haven't had one in a while, and it just happened to come up, and it was within the price range that I wanted, and it was a particular motorcycle that I wanted, because I knew, you know, pretty steadfast and bike, and I was like, the price was right, and that's the reason I bought it, because I saw it, and it was what I wanted. I had researched it, and it was a perfect fit, I guess, at the time.
Oh, well, there's a lot of bikes out there that get 40-something miles to the gallon. But like I say, I didn't buy the bike for the fuel economy. You know, it's these a lot of torque. These bikes come stock at 100 horsepower, 100 pounds of torque. That's a lot of torque.
It's what we live for. It's what we work for. It's what we accomplish.
I usually run about 4,200 RPMs. That's what she likes going down the interstate. And she's getting about 26 miles to gallon. If you can throttle it back to about 3,500 RPMs, she'll get 7 or 8 miles to gallon, but it's a hard thing to do. So they don't, you know, you don't buy one of them for the fuel economy.
It's a good feeling, exuberant feeling, a feeling of, you know, that's your thing, you're out there doing it, and hey, you know, that's what it's all about.
The American biker, a modern-day cowboy and a symbol of rugged determination. They ride for freedom and the tranquility of the open road. From weekend day trips to cross-country journeys, you'll find bikers and riders on every highway across the nation. Their lifestyle reflects the hardcore essence of all Americans. Motorcycles are freedom machines, and wherever you see them, you know the spirit of America is still alive and riding on.
listen to? Rolling Burnout. Yeah! All the way down. Oh, dude, yeah, the fire department's on their way. Yeah.
again. That's why we have road limiters. Rocket.